everyone. I'm Russ Fritz, and this is the pre race show for the Tribute Speedway's Colossal coming up this weekend, Saturday, November 16th. And I am joined by track owner and promoter Kyle Pogue and Dirt Rowdy Nation's one and only Mac Moore. What's up, guys?
Hold
Not a
on.
whole lot. Just staying busy trying to get this thing together.
Yep, I know how that feels, man. I've been in that position.
Yep.
So, man, are you getting excited or what?
Oh yeah, we're getting close and crunch time and everything's coming together. So
I'm moving a couple things around on my screen here. But yeah, you guys do your thing, man. I'm just here to help.
yep. Um, we got 144 entries this year. It's definitely doubled from last year. So
Man,
definitely excited to
yes.
see these pits filled up and the who's who is on the pre-entry list. That's for sure.
I'm gonna tell you what, man. I thought last year was huge. It's gonna be
Yeah.
something this year.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
we beat the rain last year.
Yeah.
Oh man, did we? Did we ever?
Right now,
Man,
the
it
rain's
was
beating us
awesome.
right now. The rain's beating on us right now, but
That's all
we're
right.
we're gonna work through it. We've already pumped the track once. I've been getting lots of messages. You canceling? You canceling? No, we're gonna. Even if we got to work the track all day tomorrow, we're gonna make it happen. So
Got to raise my camera a little bit here. So
Oh yeah. One of the I've been around a lot of the backyard stock series this year, and I got to say this year, you know, coming up with the Ottawa Lake Bull Ring, one and the Big B. I kind of feel, Kyle, you've gotten into the top three right now with backyard stock race.
yeah,
So,
initially it wasn't supposed to be that way, but me and my wife were talking. I'm like, you know what? If we're gonna do it, you might as well just take the crown. I mean,
So, like, what really made you want to get into? I mean, we had you on DRN the one time. You talked about wanting to promote a backyard stock race, and then now look, it's the second year. So, like, what's really got you started on wanting to do this so much?
well, I've raced my whole life, and I wanted to do that kind of thing, to see what the other side of it, and then I kind of got a taste of it last year, and I go to these other events, and no offense to nobody else, but I like to put a show on. I don't see any shows going on like the extra stuff. There's no fireworks, no excitement built. It's just here's the date, show up and go. I want people something different. So this kind of I think this is going to turn into like the end of the year blowout for everybody is what it's looking like. So
Yeah, I mean,
hey, go
Russ,
ahead. I'm sorry.
I got a question for you, Russ. You're race director this year too. What's the expectation this year? Last year you got some heat on some calls, and this year, you're stepping up on this one again. So, what's compared from last year to this year?
Well, first of all, I want to thank Kyle for inviting me back as race director again this year. And this year, I'm making a few changes with staff. Um, the way that I do my job, especially when it comes to being a race director, it was a little tough to try to do that along with having a separate head flagman. So this year, I'm going to take it upon myself to be on the flag stand too. That way, I know all the calls are gonna be the way they should be, and I'm not going to get any resistance on those calls because of possible ego problems, or people saying I'm the head flagman. Well, I'm the race director, and people just didn't want to listen. And then this year, we're going to make sure that none of our officials take their radios off. Last year we had a couple of officials take their radios off and just not listen to anybody and do what they want. That's not going to happen this year. If they don't want to have their radio on, or they don't want to do what Kyle or I say, or not sound, I should reword that. Do what Kyle or I ask of them, which is
yeah,
pretty simple. Then they can just stand back on the sidelines and be a spectator. We don't have an issue with that.
yep.
If you don't want to be able to make the hard calls, or do what we ask of you, then it's perfectly fine. You don't have to. Just stand back and be a spectator and let us do our job.
Yep. Another thing that I think is going to help this year, I'm taking the headset off fully. I don't want those calls coming to me. I'm letting Russ do his job with the track, and I'm letting Dan do his job with tech. I'm trusting those guys to run the show. I got to keep my staff behind the scenes going and make sure everything's running smoothly that way. So, and plus, we got
Mm.
Kevin Greer coming in with scoring, which is going to be huge.
That was the best thing and my favorite thing about what you did this year, man. Bringing the electronic scoring in is going to be second to none. It's going to make it a lot easier this year.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
I gotta say this though. Last year, with the limited amount of staff that Kyle, you put together at the last minute, I don't think it was a bad show. But I mean, look, we pulled people in from the crowd to come in to help. And now
Yeah.
here, you know,
And this year the other great thing is we have another experienced flagman to come in
Maybe.
case we need him. Unless plans have changed, I don't know. I didn't hear nothing about that one, but
It's kind
unless
of a ongoing situation.
oh geez, is that
but
is that Brandon?
No, it's
no.
Josh Turner from Indiana.
Okay.
He's had a lot going on in life. I don't know if anybody else follows him. He had a house fire.
Oh
Vehicle
geez.
Oh yes. Oh yes, I do remember that. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I forgot all about that.
right now it's kind of in the
So
air. I don't know if he's gonna have a vehicle to make it, kind of thing.
no, if he can't, then there's no hard feelings against him
Yep.
whatsoever. I mean, he's
I
a
did
really
get a
good guy. So
I did get a message from somebody that has previously worked with you who's coming on board to help us out. I think it's Anthony. Is that right?
oh yes, Anthony Tebow, one of my longtime officials and actually a longtime friend of
He
mine. He's actually really good, and he's a workhorse, man. I mean, he'll be right out there in the nitty gritty, moving carts around, whatever we need. So
Yep.
I
I
got a lot
mean,
of faith in Anthony, and I trust him a lot. So
yep. He's on board with us. We're bringing Brandon back, and Tony Burns is gonna be with us, but he's got his son, so he's gonna help Brandon in the shoot. So Brandon will be kind of doing the shoot and the track, and
hey,
Tony's gonna.
the more the merrier.
Yep. Tony helping the shoot. He's also going to be able to help crew my carts that we're bringing in. So that helps out. And then we got Randy and everybody else that we're bringing on this year. So
I gotta say this. So I'm gonna ask you both this. From last year's crew to this year's crew, I mean, I've joked around with the DRN guys coming in, and I've told people, I said I wanted to treat it as, back in the day how Fremont used to run like the All Star circuit and stuff like that. What's really the big difference this year with the Tribute Speedway crew compared to last year's crew?
experience. I mean, some of us now have worked together in the past, and then my family members that are actually going to be staffed with running the sign-in booth or whatever it be. Everybody's got a little bit more experience. They kind of know what to
Yeah.
expect. So.
And it's tough when you first get into it and you're just trying to wing it, you know. I've been through that before, and that's why I've always told you, man, anything you need, call me. You know,
Yep.
help. I'm willing to help you out. Like you set up the whole flag stand and stuff that I brought to you, and
Yeah.
didn't even call me. I told you I'd help you.
Yeah.
Leave it to
That's
Kyle.
But
kind of how this family is over here. We just kind of go, and sometimes we don't even get time to pick up the phone. So.
but
Well,
one thing I do like about you and your family, I'm gonna tell you what, you guys are really really great people. When people actually get to know you on a personal level, like I have, I'm gonna tell you what, man, you are some second to none, first class people, man. I really enjoy being around you guys.
now, Kyle, if I do play Ric Flair's song, are you gonna do the strut out?
We'll see.
I mean, I call you the nature boy. I'm just saying, I thought about playing some theme song for some of these drivers this year, but I was just saying,
we g-
particularly if you
As I
come out.
wrote down for you up in the booth this year, one of them I don't give away too much of what's going to happen, but after we do hot laps and we do opening ceremonies, before we do that national anthem, I'm going to try to bring up all the veterans and anybody who served, police, EMT, that kind of thing on the track. And I think we need to, give them some appreciation. And then I want you to play that Lean Greenwood song while everybody's walking up there. So that's just one cool
which
idea.
which Lee Greenwood song are we talking about here? You guys
The
sneaking
only
one
good,
in on me.
the only good one.
Oh boy. put me in a rock and a hard place. But, um,
I don't know. It all depends on who you supported last week. Not asking and not asking you to tell, but
I, I'm going to tell you guys this right here. As my Facebook post said, I vote for a leader,
Yep.
and everybody knows where my political policies are. I've been
yeah,
from Facebook multiple times because I have outspoken about it, but I leave it at that. It's
yeah.
I
And we,
just
and,
say
you know,
I'm proud to get past the misery we lived for 4 years. Let's leave it at that.
to be honest with you, I'm just either way the election went. I am just glad that it's over. I mean, we try to keep politics off of Switch and Grooves a whole lot on our normal show, but I mean, this is a little bit different. But I'm just glad that it's over and we're past it and we can get past the ads and all the riffraff of it. And
well, I will tell you this: next year's DRN American T-shirt, it is going to say "We're making America great again." So that is going to be DRN shirt next year.
Maybe we'll make
oh,
a
hey,
shirt up that says "Making backyard racing great again."
There we go. But
make a DRN great again.
Yeah.
which I've heard, Russ, you got your T-shirt stolen from you, hijacked, or something like that.
Oh yeah, she's sitting right here.
He took
she
your
decided she
salute.
decided that no, I think that's going to be mine. So
I got an extra, but I don't have that one anymore. I sold out of all the. Um, I'm not
hey,
promoting
it's
this, but yes, we will have some DRN merchandise there too at the track on Saturday. So if anybody wants to buy some, um, but so you know, this year's entries is just like wow, like I've said it before, Kyle. Like you put yourself like in the top 3 of backyard racing right now, and I think in Ohio right now you're up there with Big B. And then, you got the Summer Sizzler up at Ottawa Lake, Michigan right now, which, Corey and Gumby run right there.
Yeah.
Oh, is this something that you ever imagined it was going to ever get this big or so?
I don't know. I don't want to toot my own horn, but going to some of those things, I like what Corey and Gumby's doing over there, but I've been to Big B a couple times, and like I said, I don't want to ruffle any feathers, but it's just stagnant. You do the same thing for 15 years, and that's just not okay with me. And I've seen guys get hurt. Um, I don't know. I'll just leave it at that. But uh,
I'm not trying to poke at
yeah,
anybody. I always support everybody who does backyard racing and stuff. And I've never been to a Big B. So the most I've ever been to was the one that you ran, Russ, when I came up there and commentated. And I've been to Ottawa Lake. Just recently, I was back up at the rec for Grant Canfield's race this year, too. So, backyard racing to going to normal tracks I think it's like night and day sometimes.
yeah.
yeah,
Unfortunately, with that up there, the Fair Board and I just couldn't come to agreements. That we made things right when it came to asking me not to come on the property anymore. We made all that right, but unfortunately, we couldn't come to an agreement for me continuing up there. So I think I kind of got backdoored again a little bit. I don't know. That's how I feel about it. And not to call anybody out. I don't know who might have done it this time, but it is what it is, man. And I'll just move on with my life.
Mhm.
yep. All you really can do.
I mean, I know we've joked around about. I mean, all 3 of us have before, but Kyle, I'm going to ask you and Russ too. It could be 2 years from now, but do you think that there could be a backyard series that could be run with this if we could find 2 other tracks? I know, my group DRN has been wanting to show interest in it. We've tried to get Burns Family Racing on with it, but with him running Sandusky now, he's talking about not even running that now, and it's a whole nother ball game now. If there could be another series, how many tracks or how many races would you want to put on a schedule if this could happen?
You go
If
first, Kyle.
I was gonna do this, one thing that I see, I want to call them out, but there's another series they don't charge. It's hard to do this stuff without charging for one thing.
Yeah.
Another thing, it certain tracks because some people don't put the labor of love, I guess you could call it, into them.
Yeah.
And then I don't think I would run it like a point series. I think I would probably run it as a big event based system where each race is a certain event.
Yeah.
So something like that. But maybe I don't know. I think maybe 6 to 8 races would be plausible, but it's hard to do because you got all these tracks running and fitting in between all those schedules is the biggest issue.
Absolutely.
For
The thing is, it's not even just the go-kart series. I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard the rumor that Millstream is contemplating about running again too. And there's so many other big tracks. And the thing is, not everybody's a go-kart driver. Everybody, they might be running 305s, 410s, dirt trucks, street stock. It is hard to try to put a series together and put your thumb on something that's so hard. Um, I know when back in the day when Burns and I were talking about it, and Corey, we were all going to do a 3-kart series, and it got to the point that we actually had to drop out. And that's when it was funny because you stepped in when we had you on the show and said, well, I'll run a series. And we became a promoter with you, and that's when that whole story, oh, did you got, no, that was never our track. That was always Kyle's track. That was
Yeah.
never our race, and I don't know who or what whispered or said, I was like, we don't own.
It wasn't even nothing major. It's just I had so many people coming to me going, "Man, Dirt Rowdy did good putting that on by herself last year." I'm sitting there thinking, "What?
I'm like,
Wait,
how did Dirt Rowdy Nation? I was like, we're a promoter. He owns the track. He's the owner operator. And I'm sitting there, I'm scratching my head. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I didn't put nothing into this. I just came with a sound system. That was,
you know what? It's
we're
what it is."
just sponsors.
I was like, yeah, you know, uh,
I
no,
mean,
I
I've
clear the air on that because I was like, because I remember you said something too, and I was like, I never said that was our race. That was we came on board as a promoter. Russ came on as a race director. I was like, what's going on here? Who's saying what here? But
I don't know. I don't
me.
even remember who
I
all it was. It's old news at this point.
absolutely,
I look at the three of us sit here and everyone else that's actually involved behind the scenes that isn't actually the face of it. Well, and I first of all I want to thank those people because they don't get enough recognition for what they do. But I look at us three as just three guys that love racing
Oh yeah,
and we're volunteering our time to do something good for the karting community, and we're
yeah.
just
And
having fun
I
with it.
think the cool thing is, we bring these guys in some sprint cars, late models, whatever it is, and you got the kids that come in and they get to be right there beside probably some of their heroes. So I think that's a cool thing.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
I totally agree to that, and I think that with these kind of races, it gives. I've talked to one of my co-hosts, Bryce. He's talked about how Deck wants to jump into micros pretty soon. And, the best way I look at it is if he's out there winning the way that he is, sooner or later he's going to get that sponsorship and all this. And I think these are opportunities for those young kids to get looked at and stuff. I compare to like RJ when he was running go-karts, then he started running dirt truck. Now I think he's running uh
Late
asphalt.
models.
Yep, he's running
And
late.
he's ran a couple super modified races too.
Yeah.
Yes, he has.
So that's I think the karting community gives them that push, and I don't care what age you are. You could be 64 years old, and who knows? You could be running in NASCAR,
Yeah,
another year. So but
And I mean, and to talk about somebody like that that we have watched, especially Mac and I, we have watched come up from a young kid through the ranks. Excuse me. When it comes to RJ, the kid was a great kart racer, great dirt track racer. But I'm gonna tell you what, right now he is right where he belongs. That that is in his blood. That was what his dad did, and I'm gonna tell you what, he's following right in his footsteps.
yep.
I think there's a lot of good, a lot of good drivers out there. A lot of the ones I look at, like Paul Weaver, all time winningest track winner right now. You got Sean Valent.
Aston Valenti's 82 now.
Oh yeah, okay. You know, you got Sean Valenti. You know, you've had Alvin Rupke back in the day. One of my favorite late model drivers, Ryan Markham. You know, all these guys that you see on Fridays and Saturdays, and granted, some of them don't come to these races, but it's just awesome that you get to see them do something outside their element. You know, I'm going to use
Yeah.
a prime or DRN driver, Dan Henning this year, jumping behind a go kart this year.
Yeah.
You know, that's
From a left field last minute. I'll tell you that. That was pretty cool.
most definitely.
So,
Go ahead.
oh, go ahead, Mac. I was going to change the subject here for a second, so I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
The other thing, this was just a joke thing here, but so this was brought up, Kyle. In the future, I was told to ask you, do you want to ever have a DRN dash? And Russ, the other question was, would you want to promote a race, Ottawa Lake versus Tribute Speedway?
Ooh. Now, would I want to promote it or just be part of it?
Well, I mean, if you were, I mean, obviously they would probably need two race directors. It would probably be you and Corey and Gumby on that. But someone made a comment. They said, "Wouldn't that be something funny if you guys could find a neutral track?"
I think the way we would have to do it with the versus thing, because it's kind of like because both tracks get similar drivers. I think we would have to do like drivers would sign up to be a part of it, and then we'd like have to flip a coin to where each
Yeah,
track picks their set of drivers, like a team type thing.
yeah, like a draft pick. You know,
Yeah,
like a lot.
and
That
they,
would be interesting.
yeah, and I mean, I think that'd be kind of cool. Um,
Like the old fashioned playground. Hey, okay, I pick you, you pick.
yeah, um, yeah, I think that'd be cool. As far as the DRN dash, I can't add it this year, but if we get enough dirt routing members that want to do that and we have the carts available, we could definitely work something out.
Like I said, I'm not here to promote mine. That was just something that.
Oh, that's a cool idea. You
Um,
guys helped us out. I think it'd be something fun to do.
to
it
be
was
honest,
it was
I'd love to see Kyle be able to make this big enough to actually need to become a multi-day show,
oh,
because
It's
I
it's
think
been
that's something that the karting world is really lacking, and especially backyard racing. I did that twice a year when I was a track promoter at Martinville, and I tell you what, it was actually a really good time. I mean, there was a little rowdiness on the overnight stays, but I tell you what, it was fun all in all. A
yeah,
lot of work, but definitely worth it.
see, I
yeah,
would I would love to see if Martinsville would let us, if it was possible to rent that out, if it would be like Tribute versus Ottawa Lake, because I think that would be a neutral track right there. Because most people have ran on Martinsville track, but like I said, that could be 2 years from now if that ever happens. But
And you
uh,
never know, maybe another backyard track would be willing to help us out with that. And
yeah,
maybe not charge us anything.
yeah,
yeah,
and like I said, that was just something that was, like I said, off of my show, I get like 20 messages, or if not more. But that was something that someone had said, to like, would you do a DRN dash 1 year for just, just for giggles? And then if, would you guys want to do like Ottawa Lake versus Tribute? And I said, I think that would be funny just to see that, and uh, I was like, so what, you want to make it like,
together and figuring out the details. That's really all it is.
yeah, and I was like, so what do you want to make it like Ohio State versus Michigan type deal? And they were like, oh, that would be hilarious. I'm like, I'm not getting into this.
I can see all the Ottawa Lake guys showing up with Michigan flags, and
Oh gosh, I would have to stay out of that one. I'm like, I'm not gonna get
Oh,
into this.
well, speaking of Dirt Routing Nation, how about we play Stir the Pot? You want to do
oh,
that?
oh, gosh. So how we want to
This
start?
this is going to be towards Devin Moran.
oh no,
Yeah, so 2 years in a row, that sucker's scheduled the Slider Nationals on our date. As far as September at the World 100, he was coming here to race, and 2 weeks later, he announced Slider Nationals was taking place on our date again. So he can kiss rocks as far as I'm concerned.
Jeez, wow.
oh man.
What I call
there's
stir.
a there's some hard feelings in that one.
Yeah, there is. If I ever had a hands on a late model, I'd take his ass out. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I wouldn't go that far.
Uh, so with the car counts this year, Kyle, like all I gotta say is this: how late are we planning on going? You're saying 7 o'clock, but
Well, with the format we came up with, and starting hot laps at noon, and with Kevin on board to make things move faster, and with the way we put the format together, the low laps, I guess. It's like some of the mains are only like 6 laps. We're gonna push through these as quick as possible, because we'll have the lineups popping out quick with the transponders and everything. So um, the band's already aware that we may go past 7 o'clock, maybe 8:30, but we're gonna get it in a timely manner is the goal.
I mean, last year wasn't bad. I think if we didn't have as many cautions as we did, I think we could have got done at 9 o'clock last year.
I
On
could have beat 9 o'clock with us starting at 4 because of the meeting at the big track. It
yeah,
kind of pushed everything way back. So
Yeah, last year kind of got a monkey wrench thrown in it there, and this year that's not going to be the case. Those meetings have already happened.
yeah.
yeah,
And this year, our staff meetings at the crack of dawn. Thank you, Mr. Kyle, for that.
yeah. Well, with that many carts, we got to do what we got to do. So
I'm
And
bringing it up.
speaking of that, before we get too much further, I know this was just a pre-race show. You know, have a little fun, discuss what's going to go on
yeah,
tomorrow. I haven't decided the exact time yet tomorrow, but I'm looking more in the evening. But tomorrow, I'll let everybody know because I do have some appointments and stuff I have to get to tomorrow. Unfortunately, I had some stuff happen over the weekend with my health that I had to get taken care of this week quickly. So nothing that's going to affect me on Saturday, so don't worry about it. But I will have a pre-race drivers meeting in a typical long format to go over the details of Saturday. That way, the drivers meeting Saturday can be quick, and we can get into
yep.
moving the
And then
show along.
Saturdays, we can bring Dan in. He'll go over the tech thing uh, and what he's expecting. So, yeah.
I'm,
That'll be tomorrow, going over the format and everything. Myself, I'll probably just do that alone unless you want to join in, Kyle. That's fine.
It depend on obviously setup and everything going on out here. So
Yeah.
not to mention there's a fighting on tomorrow night. So
if everything goes good and we get everything set up in time, I'm putting a 15-foot outdoor screen with the fight on. So
Ooh. Hopefully, I can make it. I'm
yeah,
supposed to have some visitors tomorrow and for the weekend, so I hope I can make it out for the fight.
yeah.
And
Well,
I'd like to watch that. That'll be fun.
the
I got
prelim 8, so it'd probably be late by the time we get to Tyson anyway. So
a work meeting tomorrow, and then yeah, that's the joys of being promoted at work now. So, but
No promotion for me.
uh, I I don't rag on my work, but my gosh, I never. It's funny because if you guys don't know, me and Randy are race teammates, and I don't know. Did you guys hear what our race team's called?
I
Oh boy,
didn't.
do we want to?
It's called Big Pork Racing. So
Oh,
Big pork.
Big Pork Racing. I am Big Mac, and he is the Baconator. So we came up with a race
oh,
team
jeez.
about
Isn't
I
that
don't know,
more like
close to 7 or 8.
McDonald's versus Burger King or what?
It was it was it
Or
was one
who has the Baconator? Is that Wendy's? I
that's
forget.
Yeah, it's Wendy's.
Oh, my bad.
that is
Shows how much I eat at Wendy's.
That's been our race team for about 8 years. We've been called Big Pork Racing. I actually got a T-shirt that says that Big Pork Racing on it. So um,
You got to wear that Saturday.
I'm gonna bring it Saturday. I want to
Oh,
run.
no, 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 no. You don't just bring it. You got to wear it now.
I'm gonna wear
Well,
it.
we'll wear it till we cover it up with that brand new Tribute Speedway hoodie.
Oh
I,
yeah, I forgot we're getting those.
I
Yep.
will have that shirt on when me and Brandon do the dash.
Yeah.
I will wear the LB because I have my number on the back of that. But yeah, I've been me and Randy have been race teammates for about 8 years, And so we've been called Big Pork Racing since then. He's been known as the Baconator. I've been known as Big Mac.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, with me working in a slaughterhouse, it kind of works out.
There
So.
you go.
We just throw Kyle in there, and then he could be known as the Whopper.
How about just the Hamburglar?
The Hamburger. I already call him the Nature Boy. I mean,
Yeah, got tons of nicknames. It's all right.
Mac's going to introduce you tomorrow, and then you're going to have to come out and take those 3 or 4 steps, and then do his little
Yeah,
woo.
I might have to find a robe first, but
Hey, speaking of that, didn't somebody walk away with yours last year?
yes, and that person has not entered, thank God. But this year we changed it up. I actually went out and got a replica Spartan helmet and a different robe, so each winner will get to put the helmet on, and we actually built a brand new throne chair. So
Is that the one that was pictured?
yes,
Oh man, that design's actually on it then.
yes, it's one. Yep.
Oh, dude, that's pretty cool. I saw that. I just wasn't sure if it was just an image, so I never said anything about it. But
Oh,
that's pretty cool looking.
still, my father-in-law built that. He builds this kind of fun thing, and he's like, "I'm gonna throw one together and see what it looks like," and it turned out pretty cool, I think. And since we're shouting out at him, he's our track prep guy and everything. We couldn't do that without him as well. So
like Russ said, it's big for everybody who does put the time into it. Everybody behind the scenes and stuff. Even with doing podcasts to doing track work to everything. It takes more than just one person.
absolutely,
To do it all. And Kyle, you may have like 3 or 4 people that help you out this whole year working on this track, and
if I'm lucky, it's kind of a hit or miss around our work schedules. I've took a different job and I've been doing 60, 70-hour weeks, and now this week, I'm kind of normal, but I'm working and doing this, getting this together. And my
I'll tell
father-in-law,
you
he's a farmer
another
too.
thing. Another thing, Mac, I'm going to tell you that I really want people watching this to realize that there was a lot of talk last year about, the track and the walls and all the stuff that had gone wrong and wasn't in the right places. This year, I'm going to tell you what, Kyle's actually made the track bigger. He has put up the safer barriers and stuff that he's got. The flag stand is on the other straightaway now, so the straightaways have actually swapped, so that's not going to be an issue.
We've
And
actually
he's done.
we've even made more changes since you were just out here. We actually pushed the flag stand that back wall another foot to give you a little more space. We actually put more tires behind the wall, moved your flag stand back, and we built Kevin a little platform to be scoring right beside you.
All
So
right,
that's
cool,
yep. And
absolutely.
it's pretty much a wall all the way around. The only entry and exit points that aren't covered is where you would pull over for Victory Lane, and then the exit point. There's even a gate over by the flag stand now that we built. So Brandon just kicks it open. Those guys go right on the track, and then you can pull it right back shut. So
As
so
Sarah said, no ladder.
no, no ladders. That's gone. That was a temporary thing. We had a month to throw this thing together. It was just to keep people off the building, and it turned out to be a complete train wreck. But we got through it.
Well, I got to say this: we need to get Brandon Moore some hockey knee pads this year. I mean, after
Yeah, some shin guards, yeah.
I
It was
but
crazy.
the sad part is it was twice in a row. That was the sad.
Hey, the second time he saw it coming though, so that's a good thing.
At what point I told him, "Why do you keep throwing yourself out there?"
Yeah, you know,
Bubble wrap him, she said.
I mean, I kid you not, Brandon Moore, hard worker, always loves what he does. But I kid you not, he's like the Wile E. Coyote out of everybody's group. Like something has to happen to Brandon one way or another. It's like he's trying to. It's like he's trying to catch the Roadrunner, but he's never going to happen. So in the meantime, is something's going to hit him or something's going to.
Well, let's finger crossed. Hope that don't happen to him again this year. I don't want to see him get hurt. So
No, I don't want him to get
No,
hurt. I just find it funny when something does happen to him.
yeah.
Mac just wants him to get roughed up a little bit so he can laugh
Uh,
at him.
nah, like I said, the last time me and Brandon raced, it was at Burns Burns Motorsports, and this was actually only my second race. And I kid you not, if you guys would have saw this race, it looked like Days of Thunder. And literally, if Brandon would have had a radio on and he was talking to Tony, the first thing that would have came out of his mouth was, "All right, I'm going to pull this rookie's chain," because Brandon just kept on bam.
It's like the rental car scene in Days
Yeah,
of Thunder, huh?
yeah. Well, it was like, and the thing was, I won't even lie to you. If I had a radio, if someone said you're going all over the track, I would have said, "Well, the son of a gun slammed into me." But and the thing is, and he will fight this very day. But I actually gave him a run. I moved up the track. I went high to let him go down, and he didn't. He didn't hammer down. So I said, "Screw it." I swerved back in front of him, and he got mad at me about that. And I'm like, you know what? I gave you an opportunity. You obviously thought that you were the fast cart, and you didn't hammer down. So, but no, I will say that was only my second race. That was my only top 3 finish I ever got in my career. Every time I have raced, I've had the 3 races I have ran, I've had 2 DNFs and 1 second place run. So I don't have a good track record of running. And even at Goofy Golf, you can ask Corey McCoy. He ran over me. Yeah, Corey McCoy ran over me at Goofy Golf with his go-kart.
I'll have to take you down to Columbus to the indoor one down there.
They've talked about doing that, and I said the thing is they're gonna have us sign these waivers, and they're gonna be like, you guys are not coming back here ever again.
Yeah.
They're gonna kick you out for good.
Well, you can talk to Corey McCoy about this and Katie and everybody. The day that we went to Goofy Golf, we got done at that racing those go-karts. They start pulling every single go-kart back to the shop because of so much damage that was done to each one of them. I'm not even joking. We were all leaving, and we saw them pull like probably 6 of them, the ones that all of us were running, back to the shop to start working on them. So, yeah,
I tell you what, it was pretty fun. But I took my daughter to Urban Air up there in Toledo a couple of years ago for her birthday, and we would go on the go karts, and they have a little button on the steering wheel for boost. After so long, it'll let you have a boost for like a half a lap or whatever it is. But I actually found a way to get around that and use my hand manually. I won't say how, but use my hand manually back by the engine, and they would literally shut my cart down by remote because I was just pulling that lever like I wasn't supposed to. But
So I got to ask both of you this year. I know last year we had some how should I say, some rough driving. Is the rules still being applied this year? If you're called with the rough driving, you get the one warning. The second time you will be black flagged, or how's that being played this year?
I usually try to stick with that no matter where I'm at or what I'm flagging. As far as karting, I mean, obviously in big cars is a little different, but that's about the fairest way to go because you don't know if somebody did something on purpose or not. So
Yeah.
I have my way of telling, I shouldn't say telling, but my way of deciphering what I feel is rough driving and what I don't, and like who has a specific line on the racetrack and who doesn't. And I usually explain that to the drivers in the drivers meeting the day of the race. That way, everybody knows and we're all on the same page and what I expect to see out of them. And obviously, short track racing, especially, uh, sometimes you do have to move people out of the way. You just have to do it the right way and not tear people's stuff up. I get that. I've been in the seat on short tracks before. I've been on the stand on short tracks before, so I know what it's like from both perspectives.
I know when I was up at your race, can recall that I want to say it was the 360 class that you end up. It was for the transfer spot that you end up DQing 2 of the drivers on the last lap because of a dump. I know there was a little animosity right there. But in my opinion, right there, you did the break call, and the guy's like, "Well, I got dumped. Why am I getting DQ'd?" And you were like, "Well, I saw the whole race. You guys were trading paint back and forth the whole time." So, I mean, in that situation, do you think it was, how do you feel about that sometimes? If it's
No, and it's tough. It's tough, especially when you have people come from different places that don't know your style of officiating, and they don't race with you on a regular basis. I was actually talking to another kart racer I work with actually this morning about this on break at work. So excuse me. Uh, I know the local guys that can race each other hard and they do it intentionally and be okay with it
mm,
and be able to let that go. So people have to realize that especially like there's a group of three brothers that race around here, and I'll say their names. They don't mind. They're great guys, and it's the Warner brothers. It's Brian, Joe, and Kevin, and those guys I've seen them on my racetrack go out and rough each other up big time, but still politely and not enough to tear things up, and they have fun doing it. So if you are with another person and you guys can do that and I don't know you, please let me know that. And I won't have an issue with that just as long as I know ahead of time. But if I don't know that, obviously I'm going to have to do the best to make the right call.
Yep.
And as far as dumping, if two guys are going at it real hard, and I'm talking like hard and wanting to take each other out, but it doesn't warrant enough to be a disqualification during the race, and one, the one behind dumps the other one for the win, third place is going to get the win. I mean, just plain and simple. I
yeah,
I don't agree with it. Now, if a guy's out front minding his own business and all of a sudden a guy wants to come into turn three and just shit plow his way through him, and that's not going to happen either. And you know, it all depends on what happened during that race and how I would have to make that call.
yeah.
But if two guys are racing for the lead, and especially if they take each other out, well, I'm not going to call a dump on either one of you because you both took yourselves out, and third place is obviously going to win anyway. So
I
I'm
just
just going to leave that alone, and you guys are going to get scored last.
I just remember it was up at your race. I remember it was for the final transfer spot, and I can't remember who it was, but I remember Riley Jacobs was trying to get into that last transfer, and she was behind the two that were battling, and they were trying to say, "Well, that's favoritism to a driver," and I'm like, "Well, how's that favoritism when you guys are beating the living daylights out of each other? You could have took out, eight other drivers at that point, and." I just, I had to get your opinion on it. I think that you made the better call when you said no. You both are DQ'd for, you know. He's like, well, he dunked me, but at the same time, you're the one trading paint with him at the same time, and obviously it was very noticeable. And yeah, I just had to get your opinion on it. What's your thought process from compared to that to what's going to happen Saturday?
Yeah, and if I, especially if I see a person get taken out by another driver and then they work their way back up through the field and retaliate,
Yeah,
especially when it's coming to the checkers for a win, obviously, excuse me, obviously that's a retaliation and a dump just to screw them over, and I'm not going to tolerate that kind of stuff. They will be disqualified. I mean, it's just plain and simple.
and I was
Yep.
going to say, Kyle, you have a what is it, no tolerant policy at the track, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I trust these guys to make the calls they're going to make, and they've got experience doing it. And I don't want anybody coming up to staff members or any crew member, anything, any dumb fuckery. We will kick you out. I mean, straight up. So
We're all human, and I'm not perfect. I don't make the right call every single time. I'm gonna admit that. I don't do it intentionally. I will never intentionally favor any driver. I don't care. I'll black flag my own mom if need be. I really don't care. But it does happen, and drivers today just don't understand like the days when I was racing. If you get a bad call against you, that doesn't that doesn't go your way, but it should go your way, you have to take those in stride for the bad calls that do go your way and they shouldn't. So they kind of counterbalance each other, and you got to take them as they come.
Mhm.
I mean, they're not going to be perfect every time, and we're all human. I mean, it's just how it is.
I mean, I know Kyle back last year, he had, I won't name the drivers, but you had some issues with the All Star race when a certain driver wanted to get in, but did not meet the qualifications.
Yeah.
And it just turned into, well, then there was the issue when we called for tech because of because of a cart,
Mm-hmm.
when, and I'm not, and here's the thing, I'm not going to say that we shouldn't have called for tech, but that particular driver knew that cart was illegal. They knew it was.
Yep.
They were trying to pull a fast one, but the fact of the matter was, like, one of the officials that we had brought in said, if we tech that cart, we're going to have to tech every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And
You
that's
know,
just a fact of the matter.
yeah. And it was, in my opinion, that was a difficult situation last year, Kyle. I mean, what was your feelings on both of those situations right there?
I mean, I wanted to bring tech in last year, but I didn't know enough of certain people at the time to bring anybody in, and that's why we brought Dan in this year, because I got asked over and over, bring tech, bring tech. Well, they're here, and now if you have issues with that, that's what you asked for.
Yeah.
And another thing with the whole All Star thing, we changed the whole format up this year. We put a formula out in February, so everybody knew what you were going to expect. We have the Race of Champions, which is full of track champions, multiple feature wins in the big cars. There's 2 remaining spots. The rest are going in the All Star. Those are split up right now. There's, I don't know, 13, 14 drivers in there. We're going to split it up in 2 different heats, and those guys are the winners of those are going to get those last 2 spots and the Race of Champions. And the Race of Champions is in honor of Wayne Maffitt Sr. this year, who's still number 11 after passing away in '94. So it's going to be kind of crazy. And if you think about it, we've got Sean Valeni and John Ivy coming on our entry list, who are in top 5 all-time wins in go-karts here at Tribute Speedway. So that's going to be pretty exciting with the number of other sprint car drivers that's hopping in karts for this. So I
And
guess
there's a fun fact too. John Ivy probably has a really good chance because John does race karts in the off season. At
Mhm.
least he used to while the hog barn was running. They used to go
So
down
is
and watch
that going to
him.
be your prediction for? I want to hear your guys' some of your predictions for this year.
I'm gonna say John has a pretty good chance.
See, it's a very difficult toss up here because, I've got to watch over this year different go-kart races. Your track is a very particular track because
It's unique.
it's a unique, different kind of track. And I've talked to another driver about it. They said it can make you be a driver, or it can make you be one of the worst drivers.
Yeah.
And I don't think they were trying to make it sound like your track's bad. It's just, you got to
They,
take,
the driver's track.
yeah, you have to separate yourself from the other drivers. You got to make your own type of racing here. And the toss up that I've had was, you had Buddy Jackson, who is he's a tough competitor. I saw him up at Ottawa Lake. But you got Sean Valeni. This guy, I kid you not, it's in his blood. This guy could go to Watkins
Yeah,
and probably run it one time and then probably come back out being a top 3 driver. Um, it's hard to pick that at the very end, but I am going to go with Sean Valeni this year. I think Sean Valeni has a good shot of picking, but it just, like I said, your track is a very particular track. It's unique. And once these drivers figure out what their grooves are, it's game on.
exactly.
I
It's
think the format this year is going to make everybody a little bit more competitive. Even like I said, with the heat races and the stock appearing, with the amount of carts we got, you win the race in the heat race, you're in the A main. You hit the second place, you're in the B main. So these guys are really going to be going.
What's up,
Um,
Dan?
so I mean, I think I think you're going to see some really good racing this year. And
I'm
those
gonna tell
guys,
you what's gonna make this. I'm sorry, Kai, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I'm so used to working with my co-host. We got it timed out when
yeah,
just because of the delay and everything. But what's in my opinion, what's going to make this very unique this year is the way that you have widened the racetrack and the banking is more progressive than it was last year.
yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of guys come to test and tune, so it's going to throw a monkey wrench in what everybody that was there last year's plans
I
are.
have my picks for this year, just based
I
on
don't know. I don't know the entry list, so
yeah,
I've been sharing every single one of them. That's why, like I said, I would pick my own. I mean, obviously, I work for Cam Racing, and I would pick Corey any day of the week. He is my driver. But like even he's made comments, the track it's different unless you know how to drive. And like I said, I like Sean's different kind of style of driving right there. But I can't say if RJ could come out and do the same thing, and that's
RJ is out. RJ broke his hand at Bigby.
all really.
Yes. Yep.
Oh,
man,
jeez.
he just can't catch a break.
Yep. He messaged me. Maybe it was 2 or 3 days ago. Said I won't be there. I broke my hand at Bigby. So
Oh,
uh,
jeez.
he's
But
out.
the other reason I don't know the entry list is because I didn't really want to,
Hmm.
especially being the race director and the flagman. I try not to even look at that stuff, so I don't know who's coming until the day of the race, and there can't be any accusations of favoritism. Oh, you knew he was coming, so
Yeah.
you planned this all out.
Yep.
I never really did a lot of roll calls for Martinville unless I was having a big race and we wanted to get pre-entries in so we could have everybody paid up ahead of time and move things along. But other than that, I just not didn't pay attention, so I didn't have to worry about that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, I have my
I
picks.
I guess I'm
Who I,
gonna have to vow out of that.
yeah.
Who do I
Yeah.
think's gonna win? So
I get that. I have my picks. I'm not calling anything on track or anything, so I'll go ahead and make my picks for you guys. But based on test and tune and who I've been watching, I think Jake Dukeshire is going to be up front. Tyler Gunn's going to be up front, and I can't really say it for box stocks. That's kind of wide open. Same with kids, really. But I know one kid to watch out for is Action Jackson. That kid can drive.
Oh yeah.
Um, I thought for sure he was going to be um, up front last year, but he had a tough race last year. So I don't know. That's going to be very interesting to see. There's a lot of stout competition in all four divisions. Um, I don't know. I think everybody should just show up here and see what happens.
Yeah. And
and
I will
the
say this,
one
how you
oh
got
sorry
how you got the turn set up this year, it's reminding me of Talladega because I I'm going to tell you right now, and if this does happen, I might have to put $20 down for this move right here. If I see a four wide on turn one or two, and there's nobody that gets dumped on it, somebody's gonna. And I'm going to tell you right now, just how they were running at the practice. Somebody's going to slingshot through there, and they're just going to pass probably three or four carts. I don't know
I
how you
did.
did. I don't know what you did, but I like it. I
Yeah,
like did that turn, and it looks like a Talladega turn right there. But my biggest fear on that is you're going to get that one driver who says, "Okay, we're going four wide. I know I can slingshot, but then we're going to have about a four cart pile up at the same time." Then, so that's they talk about in Talladega and Daytona 500. There's the big one. I'm hoping not to see the big one this year.
No,
I don't want to see the big one.
that's something we don't want to see. I don't ever want to see that in any form of racing, to be honest with
No,
you. And I don't like how people talk. Oh, only watch racing for the wrecks, and that's
no,
I watch racing for the racing. I mean, there's nothing more exciting to me than watching a guy sit back and the last 5 laps he just comes on and steals the win at the line at the checkered flag. Man, that's just exciting. I'd rather see that than see a big old crash and a guy flip out of the park like James McFadden did in the High Limit Series this year. I just I don't
Yeah,
find that entertaining, man. That sucks.
I don't want to see anybody flip, but I have this hunch that somebody's going to slingshot through those turns this year. How you got them set up, and I think that's going to play a big part this year on the.
Exactly.
I think that
Before we
I,
wrap everything up, I will say this: if anybody comes geared, thinking I shouldn't say geared because it's a kart thing. If they come wired to drive like it was last year, it's not going to work.
yeah,
I would tell you what, the people that showed up for practice, uh, I saw what Mac was talking about, and I'm gonna tell you what, that's going to be interesting to see multiple drivers, in a group in a pack doing that. I mean, that'll
Yep.
be fun.
Yep.
that turn 1 and 2. I think that's going to honestly. I think that could be determining who a champion could be in this race this year. I really do, and I'm just because of how it's set up this year. I think somebody's going to find that groove, and when they do find it, it's going to be the green white checkered right there. Somebody is going to slingshot through there, and they're not going to be able to catch them. I
Yeah.
just
And that's
It's
one thing that I am going to do this year. I am not going to do green and white together, especially on such a tight short racetrack. That's going to cause another bit chaos. Everything will be at least green white checkered.
Yep.
mm,
Yep. If you lose me, I'm on 1%. So we'll have to wrap up here.
I'm not an hour anyways. I got to get ready for bed. I got to go to work soon.
Lots of
Well,
work to
hey,
do. Into
Well,
work, and getting back at it. So
I was gonna say let's go ahead and end the stream then. But well,
yeah,
thanks
well,
for having us.
yep. We'll all see you
oh,
guys
thanks.
here Saturday. We're gonna work hard to make sure we get this thing together for you.
All right, the
All right,
colossal.
guys,
All
be there or be square, guys.
righty, see you guys.
See ya.
The thing won't end.